Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We're excited to have our next guest here joining us, Charu Puri, joining us to talk more about the work she does here as an intuitive counselor, yoga teacher, and so much more. A Modern Yogi, that's the name of her company, and also the website, amodernyogi.ca. Yeah, because she's from beautiful Brampton, Ontario, in Canada. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing good, Jill. Doing good. Just ready to have this nice casual conversation with you, and hopefully the listeners enjoy what they hear and can benefit something and get something out of it. Yeah.
I'm sure they can. So first and foremost, let me have you introduce yourself to everyone.
Yes. So my name is Charu, and people call me Charu, Char. My company is a Modern Yogi, and basically, it's this thing that I created called Modern Yogi, basically telling people to pay attention to anchoring their spirituality, focusing on higher vibrational energies, working on the spiritual side of themselves, because we're always working on the academic education side, which is of course very important, but we can't forget about the spiritual side. That comes first, right? We are spiritual before we're human. So just a reminder to people, if that's what a Modern Yogi is about, just staying cool, calm, collected, so you can get out there and just do your thing, right? So
beautiful. Yeah. Well, I think it's important that before we talk more about the work you're doing, which is awesome, we have lots to talk about this specifically, but I want to find out a little bit about you first. Could you share a little bit about, where you grew up? I know when you were younger, you had two desires. So could you share a little bit about that? And then we'll talk about your obstacles, your challenges, and of course, your journey and path here to now helping so many others. So would you mind starting with that?
Yeah. Sometimes I think this could be a whole day's conversation, but to give it some proper attention and time, I'll try to keep it nice and short. But I think that life was tough growing up, and because it sort of forced me to look at spirituality. I don't think if I had a very good upbringing or a very sound upbringing, then perhaps that wouldn't be my life journey. But it was because life was tough, had some difficulties, obstacles at home. Of course, life outside the house was very fun with me and my girls, and we had fun outside, and I learned a lot from the outside world. And I think that's sort of what was the learning ground. The house was more disturbances going on. Outside was where the platform was to learn and grow and advance. And I think it was still a blessing despite what was happening in the home front, but it was a blessing because I kept running into either very successful people, very highly educated people who were really on a path to make a difference in the world. And that's what I kept seeing, and I was surrounded by them. So I think that sort of set the theme for me to, set the bar a little higher and look at my own life and how I can be better despite the challenges, that were going on. And I think that's what sort of built my emotional muscle as well and got me into a really strong foundation as far as spirituality. And I've always been very spiritual, even since I'm very young, like 3-4 years old. I remember a lot of spiritual phenomena, growing up, but of course I couldn't make any sense of it.
No,
because you're just a kid, so you don't know what's going on. And maybe you already know this, but kids are in fact very
more
spiritual.
intuitive, right? Yeah, like
yeah.
my mother passed about 6, almost 7 years ago, right? So my son, I have an 8 and a 6-year-old. And it's so weird. My 6-year-old, who barely knew her because he was only 2 months when she passed away, always talks about her. Is it because I talk about her? But no, I get goosebumps thinking about it, like as if he knows. Now I'm going to tear because he asks questions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is she talking to you? I'm like, how did you know that? And it's just, I'm like, and then I heard about this. So I'm thinking, was my child channeling my mom? And I'm like, but it's so innocently beautiful. And I have such really bad goosebumps right now. And I'm not cold. It's just,
no, I get it. And,
right?
And that is what's going on. That is what's going on.
So can you feel that too? I got goosies everywhere.
Yeah, because kids remember, like if they're new to this world, right? They're not familiar
Mm-hmm.
with our material world, this world that we beautifully live in.
Yep.
They've just come from the other side, you know, and so everything is very new to them. So they are more intuitive, highly
Receptive and
vibrational,
mm-hmm.
yeah, to pick up on loved ones who have passed on for sure. So whenever you see a child picking up on someone who's passed away or something like that. That's why it brings the goosebumps because they are connecting for sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Sorry to digress there, but that is
Yeah,
beautiful. So as a child, you had this intuition. Did you talk
I
about it
did.
with anyone, or did anyone else in the family have it? Did you feel
No,
different, or you didn't want to speak? Was it
I was
embarrassing
very
thinking
different. I
people
was
were good
very
at?
much an outcast, you know, I was very different, very much an outcast. I'd never fit in really. And I think that was the whole journey because I had to face all that from childhood to teenage years to 20s to 30s until I could finally say, oh, I get it. You know, I have this more sort of um heightened spiritual vibration that's why things have always been a little difficult, a little challenging. I didn't take the regular normal path like we do. You know, you go to school, you go to college, you go to university, you get married, you know, you have children. That wasn't my life at all. And so there was one challenge after the other, but finally now, you know, I recognize that it was all a story that had to happen. So my environment was set up in such a way that it would keep pulling me towards a spiritual platform, towards God or higher source, higher calling, you know, whatever you want to call it. But that's what it
Wow.
was. And so I think that's why I'm in this position today.
Yeah.
Because of all the struggles, I'm able to somewhat be a guide, you know, for those who are struggling and just remind them that,
Yeah.
you know, when you feel alone, you're not really alone because there's higher power constantly
Uh,
24/7 surrounding us and looking out for us all the time. So you're never alone, you
Beautiful to hear. And I know we've been on a tangent, on a roll, but it's great getting to
know.
know you. I know you wanted to kind of focus a little on breath work, intuitive counseling, chakra balancing. There's a lot to what you want to get to for today. So, as the intuitive,
Yeah.
what do you feel you want to
Yeah.
start with?
Yeah, so intuitive, you know, there's many names for it. Intuitive counseling, you know, intuitive readings, medical intuition. They're all in the same category as to what the purpose of this kind of work is, and it's to give guidance to people. So sometimes when, you know, life just kind of throws you somewhere where you don't know where to go, you know, you don't know who to turn to, that's when a lot of people actually go up, you know, and they're like, well, this is the time when maybe I need to start speaking a little bit more to God or higher intelligence, higher source, or look into within myself. How can I get out of this rut that I'm in? And that's sort of where
Yeah.
my work comes in, where people will reach out to me for some counseling. And it comes from a very spiritual place. It comes from higher realm, higher source, giving me the guidance. And I'm just the vessel, you know, to feed that message through. And I myself am always humbled by this experience because I never know what's going to come up. I never know, you know, it's not me having any prejudgments about people. It's really about what messages are coming from above that I need to give to them. And sometimes people fear intuitive counseling, and I just want to clear that fear that there's nothing to be fearful about or scared about, because remember, this is a very humbling practice and work and session where the answers come from higher source. So higher source is never going to guide you the wrong way, right? So it might be
Yeah.
something you may not want to hear. It may
Yeah.
be something that you are not hoping to hear, but at the same time, there is peace of mind. There's a sense of relief after you hear it, because honestly, we already know a lot of the things, and it just becomes like
Mhm.
validation for what we already internally intuitively knew, because we're all intuitive. We're all very intuitive
That's what
people.
they
We just
say,
have to,
right? But some people don't know to
yeah,
turn it on or turn it off.
Yeah, so you just have to know how to switch that on, And when you do, and when you go for intuitive counseling session and you hear the things you hear, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's exciting, sometimes it's not what you want to hear. But whatever it is, at the end of the day, it's all positive because now you can say, okay, I know what it is. Now what? Now what should I do? Now I know, okay, well, these are the directions I have to
Yep.
take because you've faced the reality, right? So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. All right. Well, let's talk about how this works. I mean, first of all, breath work is that everyone learns how to breathe or knows how to breathe, and you
Yeah.
could teach us because see, now you got me thinking about it. Now I'm focusing, but it is an automatic thing, or else we wouldn't be here right now. So, what type of,
Yeah.
just for someone who's never heard of breath work, could you share what that entails? Because it's something we hear
Of
all the
course.
time. We hear about mental health, we hear about
Yeah.
anxiety, we hear about breath work and meditation, and
Yeah.
some people may not know what that is.
Yeah,
And it may be
absolutely.
intimidating. So, could you just share a little about it?
Yeah. And I think the nice thing about breath work is that, well, we can all learn to breathe because we already are all breathing. It's just that there are techniques in how to relax our nervous system, specifically our parasympathetic nervous system, because that's the state of chilled outness, relax, chillax, that's where you want to operate from. So when you learn to actually breathe calmly, slowly, deeply, balanced, relaxed breathing, well, what's that going to do to your mind? That's going to anchor you. That's going to allow you to settle. That's going to settle maybe some emotions that are taking over, that are clouding your mind. That's also going to cool you down if you have like, excuse me, if you have like anger issues or sadness or whatever might be going on, work stress, love life stress, financial stress, health stress, whatever. So if you learn to breathe, it anchors you. And when it anchors you, you have a lot more time to have an open thinking, open mind, to be like, oh, and the light bulbs start going off then. And you have those aha moments because you're anchored, you're settled, because you've settled your breath. When you settle your breath,
Mm-hmm.
there's more space in the headspace, right? To actually now go, okay, let me look at this rationally, reasonably, with like a cool, calm, collected mind.
Are you are you there?
I'm there.
You
I'm
froze.
here.
A collective mind I saw, and
Oh,
then it was that I'm like,
good.
it happens all the time. All right, so clearly a lot of benefits, and you talked a little bit about that. And do you want to give us some examples of this intuitive
Sure.
counseling, some stories of the people you worked on? It's always good to,
Yeah, to get an
hear
idea.
something, and yeah, and it just may resonate with someone, and they could be like, wow, I'm dealing with that. Oh, that could help. Or yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's how we learn from
Yeah,
others
that's
and
a
experiences.
absolutely. It is people's stories, right? When people share their stories, then we're going to trust that because we all have our own stories or in what's happened in our lives. Like for example, I remember, a smoker used to come to me and he was like a really heavy smoker and he, read up a little bit about breath work and he said, I heard that this could help. And I never tell people to change their lifestyle. I don't tell them like, hey, look, you need to, stop drinking, smoking, doing drugs, whatever your thing is, it just happens naturally because when you anchor, you settle, you go inwards. And so that's where breath takes you. So what happened for this particular person was that he started coming for breath work and he just found that it was taking him deeper. It was just taking him, it was connecting him to himself. So it was kind of like the bridge between him and spirituality. That's what breath work did for him. And then slowly he started kind of weaning off the cigarettes. And then that led to the next journey and to get even more healthier and so on. So that's why I feel like this, makes my work a lot easier. I don't have to preach about like, hey, you should stop doing that or you should quit that or it'll just happen because if you have some bad habits, that they'll change,
Yeah.
and as far as the intuitive reading, I mean, I just did a reading like 2 days ago, but a lot of times people, like I said, they already know what it is and they feel secure and they feel peace of mind when they hear someone tell them that, like, yes, whatever you were thinking about like he was particularly asking about his career, and things that I said kind of stood out for him. And in his heart, he sort of already knew it. But what happens is that we just get clouded because we don't allow space for quietness. So when you do breath work or meditation or anything spiritual like that, you
Yeah.
allow space for quietness. And when quietness comes, now you can listen to that inner voice, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's so many stories. I've been doing this work for, like, well, the intuitive readings I've been doing for about 14 years, and spiritual yoga practices and meditations for 20 years. So there's so many stories. There's been so many people that I've worked with over the years. In fact, I wrote this book because of my own life journey, which is a modern yogi, a different kind of memoir, and it sells on Amazon. And I wrote the book because of my own life journey. I actually, you asked me how I got started. Well, I had no idea I was going to fall into this work because I was an aspiring actress,
Yeah.
So that was my calling, so I thought. And I was pursuing roles in, like, Bollywood, Hollywood, and I ended up doing a movie with Priyanka Chopra, famous Hollywood Bollywood actress, and for a Bollywood film. And so that was the path that I was on. But I spent some time in Mumbai, India, and while I was there, the spirituality came really strong and hard in
Mm-hmm.
my face. And then I was like, am I supposed to, like, change career paths? I think so, So because I paid attention to that kind of stuff, and I think it's because I paid attention, it
Yeah.
geared me in the right way. So that's what I would
Mm-hmm.
tell people, is that just pay attention to your inner voice. Keep talking to yourself. You'll get there where you need to get. Um, Listen to the guides. Pay attention to signs around you. It's always there. You just have to pick up on it.
Well, let me remind everyone how we can reach you. Normally, we take a break here. So tell us a little bit about the website, phone numbers, or if you want to share any social media pages as well, it's up to you.
Sure, sure. Yeah. So the website is amodernyogi.ca. And I'm very reachable by phone. If anybody wants to WhatsApp me, text me, call, it's 647 444 9884. I'll repeat it, 647 444 9884. You can definitely find me on social media. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. That's also a modernyogi.ca. So I kept things nice and easy, kept it all the same, so that hopefully you can find me. And then my book, it's on Amazon, same thing, A Modern Yogi, a different kind of memoir. And I wrote it to inspire people, just so that they know that, if life gets tough, it's okay. Don't worry, you're not alone. Turn inwards, make spirituality your anchor, focus on higher vibrational energy for yourself, and just see how you become a beacon of light for others who probably need your help and guidance. And you don't even know that you're helping them. It's just you being you, and you'll be able to help them, by just you being you. That's it.
Oh, well, thank you for that. And, you've been doing this work, you say it's over what, 13 years now, technically?
Yeah,
Um,
20 years. Yeah,
oh my
13,
gosh.
13, 14. Yeah, for the intuitive readings, about 13, 14 years, and overall
Mhm.
spiritual work, 20 years. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Did you do your show? Do you want to talk about chakra balancing more in detail? Or there's also that
Yeah.
you're offering a discounted intuitive counseling reading session. There's a lot. So what else? It's
Absolutely.
just this being
Absolutely.
this is your, our first time here on Zoom and stuff. What else
Yes.
did you want
Yeah.
to
And then I
share?
think we have a couple more Zoom
Oh, oh,
sessions coming up
oh,
soon.
good. Okay, good, good.
But,
That's why I was trying to cram
I will
everything in. I
definitely,
don't know.
yeah, yeah, no, I think we have a couple more coming up, but I will like to say that the three focuses that I wanted to kind of mention today was either, booking an intuitive session with me, or booking breath work, or booking chakra balancing. Now, you may not know which out of the three you want to do. Well, that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. That's why we're going to have a consultation. It's a free consultation. Anybody can email me or call me. My email is info@amodernyogi.ca, or you can call me on the number I gave. and we'll do a free consultation, and I will intuitively figure out what it is that you need. Do you need a intuitive counseling session first? Usually that's the best way to go because it lays out the path and it sort of sets the tone how to move forward. So it's good to start with an intuitive counseling session because then I get to learn a little bit more about your life, and you get to also feel comfortable working with me as a coach or guide. And then from there, then we'll decide as far as a practice, what do you need? Do you need breath work? Do you need chakra balancing? For those who don't know what chakra balancing is, just really quickly, we have these energy centers in the body. They're not physically seen, but they're felt. So, for example, when you meet someone, so you get a vibe from that person, whether you like them or you don't like them. Well, where does that come from? That's our energies working, right? So that's how we know, like, if something's good for us or not, or this person's right for us or not, because we intuitively feel it. So chakras is what that is. It's these energy centers, these vortex of energy centers that we balance, and they're related to all the attributes of our life. So whether you're looking at your health, your finances, your career, your love life, your work relationships, anything, whatever area that you are struggling with or want to enhance or be more successful in, then we would work on that chakra associated with it so that we can balance it, we can open it, and now there's room to grow in that direction and area of your life. Yeah. So I would suggest people, just call up for a free consultation. Let's have a nice casual chat and we'll figure out, what it is that you need.
Well, we appreciate that. And I guess you really don't, after the discovery call, in a sense, then you can kind of figure out what someone needs. Because some people might come to you and say, hey, I feel this, or I don't know what's going on. But can you sense from just talking to them for a few minutes, what they're in need of without them telling you?
Yeah, I can actually. I can. And so the funny thing is sometimes people say, oh, but how can we do this over the phone? Like, how is that possible? I'm like, well, energy doesn't have borders. It doesn't have borders. So, I can sense your energy, whether you're sitting in Australia, Africa, US, Canada, wherever you're sitting. And we'll just pick up on each other's energies. Even they will pick up on my energies. I will pick up on their energy.
Okay. Well, can you pick up anything about my energy? What do you think is well, I think I'm a happy person, but there's also something else.
Yes, you are.
What do you feel about me today? Anything in particular?
What I feel about you is that you've got a great energy, a great light, definitely charismatic.
Be honest,
outgoing,
but what? Anything?
But you could use some grounding. You could use some grounding because I feel like you've got so much going on in your life. You've got you're in this direction and that direction and that
Love
direction
you.
because you have a hard time saying no. You have a hard time saying no because you get so excited about all the work that's being offered to you that what you do is you're like, okay, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Yeah, I'll do that too. Yeah, okay, I can do that. Because you want to be Superwoman,
But
and the thing is, that's a compliment.
It's physically and mentally draining me. I have a 6 and 8-year-old. I'm a single mother. There's no every other weekends. I'm with them 24/7. So it's on the bus to work, off the bus, to the school, to their homework, to the sports, and I just am so overwhelmed in my life. And my house is a disaster and it's weighing on me. This physical clutter in my house, I can't get to it because I'm always with my kids. So I'm really struggling mentally. People have it much worse, but I'm losing it like this. And I'm just curious. I'm glad you said that I'm doing too much.
You're spreading yourself too thin. You're spreading yourself too thin, and you need to prioritize what are the three main important, if you had to look at, work and career and all that, what are the three most important things that really excite you, and focus on those and don't worry about the rest because those other things will maybe come later when they need to. But that's what it is.
The relationship and love, which I can never figure out because I'm always, I got my kids and those are my loves in my life. I've never been married. Of course I want that love, but the patterns exist. I'm always in the same spot in a relationship. And the truth is I don't have time for anyone else. It's bad enough. It's me, my 2 boys. No one wants to be number 4. And I've And I tell everyone that, and then they try.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
well, we're
told ya.
similar. I'm not married either.
Okay.
Relationships have not always been easy. And what happens is that with women who are very busy, career minded, or you have your children as well, then there's so much going on in just that circle that it becomes difficult, because every relationship needs like effort and work, like you said.
Yes.
So it does require your time and love and care and everything, right? So yeah, but I would suggest to you that find a way to do some breath work, settle down, make a little bit of you time, because it'll actually enhance whatever you're trying to do. It'll actually make it better, because it'll just be more in harmony and aligned.
I'm writing it down. I like taking notes when people talk, because I just go back and then this one says make you time. Thank you. Oh my gosh, we're out of time for today. Oh my gosh, it happened so fast.
So fast, yeah.
Please share again how we can contact you.
Absolutely. You can call me at 647-444-9884. Email info@amodernyogi.ca, or just check out the website amodernyogi.ca. So I'm very reachable. Looking forward to connecting with all of you guys. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have a great
day.
You,
Jill.
Pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas. Do I say Merry Christmas to you, or is
it
Happy
Merry
Hanukkah
Christmas,
or Happy Holidays? Perfect.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, have a good New Year, and we'll catch up soon again. I think we have another one coming up soon. So yeah.
Beautiful. Can't wait. Thank you so much. Okay. Reach out, guys and gals. Bye-bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.